OECD, Oxford University, Cornell University, university facilities they got. Even in Harvard University, we got professors having 4 or 5 patents in their name. And it's left to them how they can invent and how they can have their patents. And this is the statistics which gives you what is the number of patent applications filed and granted. NASA 1941 filed and 641 granted. Like that. Mahindra C25, 1 granted. Yeah. These are different companies. See, Toyota, 99,999 patent applications. Patents, granted patents they got. Yeah. What these numbers mean? They create an image, they give a market share, they command and respect in bargaining the trade, cultural and ground level activities in your institutions, hallmark of global business. This is how your intellectual property is needed. Entrepreneurship, creativity, invention, innovation, IPR. What intellectual property can do for you? Wealth creation, legitimate ownership, monopoly, entry into different markets, bargaining power, talent, royalty, collaboration. How you can answer? Vigilance required. IPR or not? People will continue stealing. You may not always win if you are right. Then IPR costs. That involves a lot of money. Then what is the next step? Which side of the line you stand? That you should decide. Whether you want to be an offender or defender. Recognize your position. Then, yeah, this is statistics of Japanese development, how they developed only through the strength of patents. Yeah. Continue. Toyota. This is the first patent and utility model they got. That wooden thing, no? Yeah. No, this is Honda. That is the first bike they produced. Then Sony. Yeah. You can pass through this. Next. This is important. Direct infringement. Vicarious infringement. A player, if he steals, he is bringing his nation also along with. Vicarious liability. Contributory infringements and valid steal. Where your infringement or your invention is infringed fits, that you should recognize. Then, ignorance of law has no excuse. So, direct, contributory and vicarious. Where you should want to file the case, prosecute the case, or where you are if you are an infringer. Then, infringement is a tricky situation, and how international damages are claimed. If your invention is infringed, if there are alternatives in the market, then your damages will be less. If there are no alternatives, yours is the only product, then damages will be very large. So you have to maintain this infringement situation in a different way. This is another example. It is infringed in India. Some person from Sirsi, he invented this cart with a single wheel. Single wheel bole to 2 wheels at the center. What happened after publication of this by patent office? Somebody drawn the picture into 2 parts and he inserted 4 wheels, and he filed another application. Whether this is infringement or not. Where is 2 wheel and where is 4 wheel? He added 2 another wheels, same technology. Control C, Control V, cut and paste. This is how it is. Then, how to deal with infringement, where you stand, where you want to identify your position. Then it's all about money, no sentiments, nothing doing. Then don't want to hang or don't try to hang the infringer. Calculate your damage exactly and try to prosecute your damage. Then it is how to deal with the offender. Take action and do homework at that. Whether you are in right position or wrong position, understand that, and then offer a way out. Calculate your damages and offer him to pay. That is how it is. How to generate intellectual property right? Always try to be creative. Then single intellectual property right will not fetch you strength, but when it is collective, like Toyota, you will receive a large amount of benefit through that. It is how it is protected. You fill your company with intellectual property rights. Fill your personality with intellectual property rights. Then there will be different aura for you. And there are areas where there are situations where similar technologies at similar time gone for patent. Then USPTO made this combination, Sony and Samsung, to share the patent. It is like, common pond where everybody to drink. There are situations. So, first come, first serve. Be earlier. Then. Thank you.
The house is open for questions. If you have got any queries, certainly you can ask and clarify your doubt.
So, respected sir, Madam Vijay Lakshmi Madam from Kilpar as the observer, other paper presenters, esteemed teachers, the guest faculty from other colleges, students, and my dear friends. Now, really I am very happy because for the first time I have given this opportunity of introducing our own principal sir. He has got a teaching experience for past 29 years. He was former Dean Faculty of Law, Mangalore University, member of Academic Council and Syndicate of Mangalore University, Chairman of Board of Studies of Mangalore University, External Examiner to Mysore University, Kuvempu University, Shivamogga, Bangalore University, Karnataka University, Gulbarga University. He has served as NSS officer for 10 years. He has attended 13 national seminars, has published 9 papers on different aspects, has got 3 special awards, the Jnana Shikshak Award 2007 awarded by the Global Management Council of India, the Rotaract International Award 2007 Best Teachers Award, the Rotary Best Teachers Award 2007. He has got his PhD for a topic from Indian constitutional law, that is separation between state and religion, a critical study of secularism with special preference to the Constitution of India. Subject specialization, Indian constitutional law and administrative law, but with your kind permission sir, I would like, actually he was teaching Hindu law and students used to wait outside the class when sir will come for Hindu law, because he used to give them so much of additional knowledge which would be very helpful for them after 5 years while they enter into certain particular field as such. So way of his teaching Hindu knowledge with lots of experience, personal as well as subject. The students were waiting so much when our sir will come for Hindu knowledge, Hindu law class. And my friends, many individuals have got like uncut diamonds, shining qualities below a rough exterior. And we find this in our beloved principal sir, all these qualities. Earlier, our Sir Tarnath introduced, we are having a handsome personality with smiling madam. But here I produce to you, although not always smiling, but very, very, Gambhirya personality. But still, we have got really a nice person who has got a nice heart. And first time I think I'm introducing him by his name. He also knows, till now I have not called him by his name at all in any function, sir. But here I have to introduce this by your name itself. So here I am very happy to introduce all of you, our beloved sir, principal, and also the chairman of studies, that is Professor Dr. B.K. Ravindra, to one and all of you. Over to you, sir.
But this is the first time where I am speaking to my friends here. In fact, I wanted to avoid this, to speak on intellectual property, because I have been teaching my friends from several years and pass on the buck to Srimati Balika so that she can present the paper. But anyhow, Mr. Tarnath is a very clever fellow. Well, he just shifted the burden to me. Now I am here to talk to you on the topic utility and scope of intellectual property rights. It's a you have many, see, these are the things. Why is it? Because we are not aware of our rights. We are not aware of the rich traditional knowledge that we have. We were ignorant. We never, see, our elders doesn't pass on the information to the youngers, and the younger generation are not bothered in knowing it. Are not bothered. ಯಾರ ಕಷಾಯ ಕುಡಿತಾರೆ, ಯಾರು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಮಣ್ಣು ಸಾರು ಕುಡಿತಾರೆ, ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಆಂಟಿಬಯೋಟಿಕ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರಪ್ಪ, ಜ್ವರಕ್ಕೆ ತಿಂದುಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಆರಾಮಾಯಿತು. ಆಂಟಿಬಯೋಟಿಕ್ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಪರಿಣಾಮ ಏನು? 3 ಸಲ ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಬೇಕು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಸತಿ ಜ್ವರ ಬಂದಾಗ ಅದ್ರ ಡಬಲ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು ಅವನು ಆಂಟಿಬಯೋಟಿಕ್, ಅದನ್ನ ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ನಿಮಗೆ. ಸೊ 6 days ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಬೇಕು. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಸತಿ ಜ್ವರ ಬಂದಾಗ ಅದರ ಡಬಲ್ ಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಗೋಸ್ ಆನ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಿಸ್. ಸೊ ವೇರ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ದ ಮೆಡಿಸಿನ್ಸ್ ಅಟ್ ದ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಯಾರ್ಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಅವರ್ ಹೌಸ್, ವಿ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಇಟ್, somebody uses it, pirates it, uses it, gets patented and brings different types of medicines to the market, and thereby they capture the international market. Now, intellectual property and economic development. India is a member of Berne and Paris conventions, every one of us know. Broadcasting, cable casting and telecasting rights are the recent additions to intellectual property law. At present, internet website and cyberspace are also creating problems, and no foolproof methods are available to curtail this today. The grant of patent monopoly rights enables competitors in the field to manufacture new products, and if patent law were to be absent, much of our technological information would have remained secret and perhaps lost also. Because intellectual property is there, we are in a position to give the information to you, because I know that my right is protected for a period of 20 years. Therefore, I am ready to give you the secrets of my invention to you, because my right is protected for a period of 20 years. If that law were not to be available, then suddenly I wouldn't have made any invention. I would have jumped into the realm of research, and the country couldn't have progressed. Printing, publishing, and entertainment industry are entirely depend on copyright protection, because piracy is rampant in this industry. Therefore, copyright law helps them to protect themselves to a very large extent. Then, if IPR law were to be absent, then market would have been flooded with shoddy and spurious products by unscrupulous men by copying well-known trademarks. That is why we need copyright law. That is why we need intellectual property law, to safeguard our creations, to safeguard our inventions. Then, in conclusion, I would like to say, ineffective protection of patent rights by the authorities concerned and the lack of proper enforcement mechanism causes commercial failure of patented products and would lead to negative growth of business. Then, poor enforcement system affects both national and international markets and discourages foreign investments, and also it discourages multinational countries from venturing into new projects. So there is a need for an effective strategy for commercialization and management of resources to achieve an economic growth and development in a competitive environment. Ladies and gentlemen, at the last I would like to say, any amount of speeches from the platform will be of no use. But we should realize that we should be competitive and productive. Therefore, I support Charles Darwin's theory, survival of the fittest theory. You should be competent, you should be well equipped. We are not doing this for the name's sake. We are not punishing you. It is not false imprisonment. We want to educate you so that at least in future, if you are well aware of your rights, if you are abreast with your rights, you can safeguard your creations, my friends. That is our motto here. And on the same hand, survival of the fittest theory is the need of the hour. Hence, all of us should be competitive, should develop competitive spirit, which will reward us in future. Remember, it is not so easy if you are not abreast with law, if you are not aware of the latest developments, if you are not competitive, you can't survive in the market. I have seen Siddhartha teaching in the Kuvempu University as a research training assistant. Now, because he could develop himself, he could enhance his knowledge, he could get into the attorney's office, patent attorney's office. There he was drawing 10,000 rupees salary, now he draws 50,000 rupees salary. Provided I am right, I don't know. I was told. See, that all depends upon how you are. You should be competent, you should develop this competitive spirit. Otherwise, you will be lagging behind, my friends. Then, on the same hand, in the process, competitive litigations are bound to develop. And to tackle this, we need competent judiciary, competent advocates, which we are lacking. I am sorry to say, some of the judges are not aware of this IPR law, and the reason they give is, when we were students, we are not studied IPR. Even I have not studied IPR, but we have made a humble study and we are trying to improve ourselves. That is what that is needed. That cannot be the reason. By saying that I have not studied IPR when I was a student. No, I don't agree with that. And government has to take initiative in educating the people, and awareness is very, very important. Creating an awareness among the public is important. Awareness, not only the students, but also the general public, is the need of the hour, my friends. To conclude, I quote, "We cannot help ourselves without helping others. We cannot enrich ourselves without enriching others. We cannot prosper without the prosperity of others." My friends, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. So if anybody has got any queries or question after this spirited talk, you can just put forward your queries.
I request Judge Madam to honor Dr. P.D. Sebastian. Now, I request Dr. P.D. Sebastian to initiate the discussion.
Dear students and my dear friends, we are with our first session in the afternoon. As Taranath rightly pointed out, our own alumni, Mr. Girish, will be presenting the copyright law, a very, very, very big canvas. And as far as Mr. Girish is concerned, he, after completing his law degree from SDM Law College, he joined for LLM at Mysore University. Afterwards, he joined Hidayatullah National University, Raipur, Chhattisgarh, and thereafter he joined VM Salgaonkar Law College, Goa, and now he is a lecturer there, and he is specialized in arbitration, and also he is an expert in the information technology law. As you know, he is a guest faculty for our diploma course in information technology law. Now I request Girish to present his views on copyright law in India. Thank you.
A very good afternoon to one and all. At the outset itself, I would like to thank the principal of SDM Law College, Dr. B.K. Ravindra, as well as Special Officer Srimati Vijay Lakshmi Kilpar, for providing me an opportunity to present a paper on copyright laws in India. Friends, in a life of a teacher, some things are very crucial and difficult. One such difficulty I am facing now. Taking a session that is a post-lunch session. So in a post-lunch session, normally the audience will be in a mood of dozy sort of thing. So make them attractive and interactive becomes a very difficult task for a paper present. So friends, the area upon which I am going to focus within few minutes in this particular presentation is copyright laws in India. As the theme of the seminar itself says, this is a patent and copyright law for a layman. So this presentation has been prepared keeping in view creating or igniting a spark or an awareness in the mind of a layman as to what is copyright and what works can be copyrighted, where you can register your copyright, and what are the remedies which are available in case of infringement of copyright, and various other aspects relating to copyright. So we'll be beginning our discussion relating to it and my scheme of presentation with regard to this particular paper will be like this. See, this would be my scheme of presentation. Basically, I'll be discussing relating to an introduction, how this copyright law came into existence and what exactly is copyright, an economic scene of a copyright, why the knowledge relating to copyright law is essential even to a layman. Thirdly, it will be relating to a meaning of copyright, what exactly is a copyright in a layman terms, in a dictionary terms, as well as under the Copyright Act 1957. Followed by that, it's applicability of copyright law and the level of protection. So for which kinds of works, for which kinds of activities the copyright subsists. And next we will be looking into an infringement or piracy in copyright. Later on, the remedies which are available for infringement or piracy in copyright, and conclusion and suggestions. This would be the scheme of presentation which I am going to put forward in front of you people right now. So friends, the copyright, we can trace it back to the 15th century itself. Even it can be traced back date than that of 15th century. But the legal recognition of copyright in India came into existence after independence. This was the first legislation which came into picture, which protects an intellectual work in terms of creativity, as well as the intellectual abilities which are put forward in various expressions, which needs to be recognized and protected. Copyright Act 1957. And this act has been subjected to various amendments. Various amendments have been brought to this particular act in order to update or in order to bring in tune the legislation with that of a technological development, the pace in with which the technology is developing, in order to update the law so that it can encounter, it can tackle aspects relating to the technological development with specific reference to information technology. So there were various amendments which have been made to this particular act, and the 1994 amendment to this Copyright Act is very substantial, which has brought very substantial changes relating to a copyright law in India. So friends, before independence, before this Copyright Act 1957 was passed, the scenario which prevailed pre-independence era, there was a Copyright Act 1911 which was in existence in United Kingdom, England. As all of us are aware, we were under the clutches of British regime till we got an independence. The same act of copyright was extended even to an Indian regime that is called as Copyright Act 1914. And this was a scenario which existed before independence, and after independence right now we have a Copyright Act 1957. So friends, India is a member of a Berne Convention, as well as it is a member of Universal Copyright Convention, as well as it is a signatory to a TRIPS, trade related aspects of intellectual property rights. If you look into an international scenario, like we have a Berne Convention which came into existence where it thought of protecting the works